Hi, my name's Simon Lock. I'm at the IPR and Prime Research Strategic Corporate Communication and Research Conference. I'm delighted to be with David McCulloch. David is the Head of Communications with GE Power Digital. David, why is it important for communicators to create a data-driven narrative?
Hey Simon, yeah, I think we've reached a point in the evolution of the internet where no business, no industry is being spared from transformation through what low-cost sensors, through ubiquitous broadband, and what data science can do. Which means really every business is being scrutinized, whether it's by investors or by their stakeholders, as to how they're embracing that data and creating new value from it. I think what's really interesting to me is that having a data strategy now becomes a key way to drive valuation of your business. There was a recent study that Goldman Sachs did for GE that showed companies that really effectively articulate their data strategy, their digital strategy, if you will, can command valuations that are 15% higher than those who don't. So I think that's a pretty compelling case for figuring out what your data narrative is.
What are the lessons from GE's digital transformation for communicators in particular when it comes to maybe the role of and importance of analytics and research?
Yeah, the funny thing is we're awash with data really now, right? Whether it's the amount of information that comes in through our emails or what we can find on the web with a simple Google search. But the fact is that most of that data is going unutilized today. I'll give you a quick example. In my industry, the electricity industry, there are terabytes of data being produced by power plants and wind farms around the world, but only 2% of it is being utilized. And we found through a study with the World Economic Forum that we could create $1 trillion in value, that's with a T, by using that data to do things like make wind farms more efficient. We could generate 20% more electricity from the same wind farm simply by looking at the data and tweaking the performance of a wind turbine, for example, to more effectively capture the wind. And there are so many examples of that across our business, from having a jet engine use less fuel as it takes off perhaps, or a train running more efficiently, more predictably from destination A to destination B using analytics. And there are examples like this in every industry. And the key thing is, do you know the data that you own? Are you analyzing that data and looking at it at a source of competitive advantage? And can you frankly sell those insights back to your customers?
So my last question is simply, in a digital world, how should companies think about again, the role of analytics and research and listening probably in shaping values that are going to drive their success?
Yeah, well, I think if you look at the values of the internet itself, in some ways the internet is ruthless. It highlights inefficiencies of supply and demand really rapidly. It's a great equalizer, you might say, that moves with incredible speed. Look at the way industries like the taxi industry has been disrupted by Uber. In the space of 7 years, taxi companies that have been around for 30 years have completely disappeared. And that's playing out in just about every industry. So the key thing here is to move with speed and agility and listen really well to customers. Every one of these disruptions that I've described has been driven by customers being dissatisfied with a service or a product. So I think every business, as it faces a digital transition, needs to think about, how can I move faster? How can I remove bureaucracy? How can I make sure that my product and service design is driven by what customers really want, and keep listening and keep asking and test products as you go along? Those are some of the values that we've really built into GE. We call it fast works, so that we learn and we iterate, and maybe we fail quickly, but we don't get too caught up in the ways that we've worked previously. We really think about moving with internet speed.
David, thanks very much indeed.
You're welcome. Thanks, Simon.